Thank you so much, Ellen, for this opportunity to share some tools and resources about digital literacies with so many of you fellow educators. And of course, thank you to Ahu for helping me to provide some insights to you as well. And so we'll get started here. This is, of course, boosting the effectiveness of digital literacy for adult education students. And I always love a good quote, and this quote is what stuck to me the strongest as I was getting ready to talk to you about digital literacy, and it's by Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world, and right now that weapon would be digital literacy. And of course, we'll talk about how much the boot camps have been an effective tool for our students, but also our volunteer support team and our teachers to teach it. And so very quickly, we'll talk about why the importance of digital literacy now. What are our methods to teach these boot camps? Consistency, like so many things, is the key. What is the methodology of our boot camps? The bootcamp assessment, and what has bootcamp success meant for us at LCMC? And of course, we'd like to have some time to share with you all what are some of your tips and practices and answer questions and answers at the end as well. And of course, use the chat box to answer some of our poll questions. So why digital literacy now? All three of our biggest focus areas for all of our students is basically broken down into everyday living, educational, and employment. And I think that it's taken a pandemic, it's been the silver lining for students to see that all three of those things can be achieved thanks to stronger digital literacy skills, because pre-COVID times, it might have seemed a little more difficult to achieve because you're taking into account your language skills and your digital skills. And some of you who are ESL teachers, you're probably thinking, as I have, how many times have I told my students to use technology outside of the class to work on their skills? And so now that students have to embrace the technical reality of the classroom, it's just helped them to really bridge those three goals together and achieve them in a much sooner window than previously expected. So in all three ways, digital literacy helps students to achieve why they come to the classroom in the first place. Believe it or not, we've been able to serve so many students through digital literacy, not just locally, but on a global scale. If there were any restrictions to joining a class before, there aren't any now, because digital literacy just helps students to feel more connected, and it connects them with what it is that they need from not just LCMC, but the community at large. They have the flexibility and the convenience to learn where they are. And that's something that they didn't have before. And as I mentioned, English, life, and digital skills are all blended together in this digital format. So they might come with a certain skill set beforehand, but once they leave, after they've learned the fundamentals of what digital literacy involves, then they're definitely in a much higher place than when they came. And this is just, and every picture here that we've taken in this presentation involves all of our students working with digital literacy in the moment. So it's just great to see their confidence, not just from the beginning, but during and at the end as well, as you see all of their skills improve in every single area. In terms of the workplace, something that we've been able to expand as part of our services or programs is to teach group ESL classes in the workplace, or also known as LCMC at work. And not only has this helped students and employees to improve not just their language skills, but digital skills, it's helped them to grow as employees. And these are some of the classes that we've been able to do during the pandemic. So these are the students who can tell you firsthand that digital literacy classes, English classes with a digital literacy focus absolutely work. I think we all miss in-person classes, but once the students realize that they have the confidence and the skills to participate in digital classes, their interest and confidence as students grow, and also their confidence in their ability to improve their performance at work grows. So in the case of this student here, Brenda, she doesn't miss a class. She is more confident in her ability to communicate with her managers in English, and she's more confident in her ability to use technology. So this is just very hands-on approach to what students can achieve once you've started to lay the groundwork for what they need to do to grow with digital skills. So I'm going to stop right here to launch our first poll question, if you may, Ellen.
All right, it's in the chat box. What are some ways you've seen students succeed with the addition of digital literacy in the classroom? And if you look at the chat box, there's some answers there, or I'm sure Raul would appreciate all of the ideas that you would also like to share. Looks like we are having a lot of all of the above responses.
And I'm glad to see that confidence is one of the common themes that answers there as well. I feel like as we've talked to students about digital literacy in the classroom, they all know that digital literacy has always been a part of education, but they were never forced to really use it until now because we have so many virtual classes. And so if they didn't have confidence before COVID to participate in a class because their English skills were lacking, there was more fear in their eyes because they lacked the English and they lacked the digital skills. But as we continue to implement boot camps for our students prior to joining their classes, and then during their classes, we can see, as you've mentioned already, and thank you for your comments and answers in the chat, we can see how their confidence in every level is growing. And it's always motivating and rewarding for teachers to see. And that's the big reason why we've designed these boot camps in a way that is in an ongoing way. Every student is different and every device is different. We've never wanted to set barriers for students in terms of not being able to participate in the class because they don't have a laptop or a desktop. You could have a class of 30 students, for example. Maybe 25 of them have a phone and 5 of them have a laptop. It might be an exaggeration of an example, but it just goes to show that we don't know what devices our students have. But all the more reason why so many things in life outside of the classroom require that digital skill knowledge. It's that much more important that we teach our students the tools to be able to succeed in participating in an online class, whether they have a phone or whether they have a laptop, to be able to participate in their classes, but also to take that knowledge and information and apply it to what they're trying to achieve outside of their classes, whether that's applying to college or whether it's applying for a job, or in any case, as recently as this week, how to find a doctor, how to take classes for citizenship, whatever it may be. The digital skills that these students learn is helping them to achieve much more success in LCMC and beyond. It was very happy to see that pre-COVID and now during COVID, there's a lot of students who had never heard of or used their Google Calendar before. So there's a lot of benefits to helping students to connect to their classes through the calendar. You're not losing emails in the black hole that is a busy email inbox. So calendar benefits have been an amazing achievement for students to learn and use. Again, going back to, we don't know what students have, so making it a priority to teach students not just Google Apps, but also Microsoft programs. And internet and email, I think, has been maybe the toughest challenge that students have overcome in terms of developing their digital skills, because you'd be surprised how many students have learned how to compose an email with professional etiquette, how to save and attach documents, or even how to create a group to make email sending easier. It's all helped to prepare them to participate in these online classes, which for many of them is either their first time or they're still hesitantly participating due to their lack of practice with digital skills outside of the classroom, which is why we can never assume what the students' digital skills are, which is why it's important for us to do the bootcamp assessment, and that allows us to see where they are and where they're going to go as they continue to progress through their classes. What did we cover? Anything from Zoom and Google Meet. And thankfully, we have the support of our certified ESL instructors to teach these classes. So not only do the students learn critical digital vocabulary, but they're learning from teachers who know how to work with the ESL audience, because you can have a wide range of students who have pretty intermediate to high ESL language skills, but very low digital skills, and anywhere in between. But in addition to ESL instructors, there's a very strong core of support that we have from volunteer instructors. And I think the best part that keeps students motivated to keep growing with their digital skills is our ability to grow them through the program from level to level. As we see here, you may start at the beginner level, but you work your way through intermediate, and very soon the certified pre-certification level as it relates to their goals, be it academic or professional. So the 4-week digital literacy classes is both a support for the lack of knowledge that they have in the bootcamp, but also as a supplement to what they learn in the bootcamps. Because as I've said, and as all of you have seen in your classes, it's not enough to simply get them ready to participate in your online classes if they don't have the extra practice outside of the classes. So in addition to the bootcamps, there's these regularly scheduled 4-week digital literacy classes to work on those areas, the fundamentals of basic computer skills that students need, not just to participate in online classes, but that tech savviness to understand how to add a website to their favorites, how to save documents to their iCloud Drive, how to save anything that they need related to their class or whatever they need related to what they're trying to achieve outside of the class. So I'll stop here for the next poll question.
Okay, I'm getting it in the chat box right now, but the question is, what is the biggest lesson you've learned from students and digital literacy this year? Posting a couple of responses, but as always, feel free to offer your own suggestions.
I like that Michelle said no assumptions. I really love all of the answers that folks are sharing here, but one in particular by Evelyn Casado, how much students truly appreciate the digital literacy classes. And, you know, during the pandemic, you would never think that they would embrace digital literacy the way they do now, but it just takes that initial step of confidence on their part and their teacher's part to show them that they can do this, but it does require that patience and work, as you've alluded to as well, for them to see that they really can achieve what they're trying to accomplish with their language skills, with their digital skills, wherever they are. And as a preparation for their success with online classes, the reason we've scheduled the boot camps the way we do is because their classes are offered on Google Meet. Some of them may have heard of Google Meet, some of them may have not, but the ability to participate in a boot camp in the same platform that they're going to use in their classes just raises their confidence that much more. The picture here on the right is one of these classes connecting on Google Meet as I got a quick photo. And the same with the student here, who pretty much said her confidence in her ability to use technology was zero previously to the bootcamp. By the end of it, she was asking when the next class would be. So it just goes to show you, as you work with your students to get through these digital literacy struggles or doubts, you can do this together. And as one of you commented, you can also teach each other. You'd be surprised what you can teach you. You can teach each other as you go through a digital class. What should students know? As I mentioned, anything and everything that helps them to connect to what they need, not just from their teachers from LCMC, but also from the community. So many students that I've talked to, it was something new for them to learn the difference between a window and a tab, for example, or what is an icon versus what is the difference between opening a program on the desktop or on the taskbar or the dock part of the screen. So if there's something that their teacher is sending them, they don't know where to save it, all the more important as to why they should not just back up their data, but also save it and probably the most difficult task, troubleshooting, because all of us can get a guide as to what to do to connect to the class. But what happens when my device isn't working? My camera's not working, my internet is down, so many things. Troubleshooting, of course, is one of our focuses. And it just helps them to feel that much more confident in their ability to take classes once they learn those basic fundamentals of troubleshooting if something goes wrong, but also managing their devices so that they always have enough storage space to have as much information as they can from their classes moving forward. And what do the teachers do? If there's any questions beyond what's the material being shared, we screen share as necessary. We don't want the students to feel like it's simply I need to answer this question and I know the correct answer, but deeper than that, why is it the correct answer? So we will screen share as necessary because we just don't know what devices students have. So in that sense, students do feel that much more connected because we're looking at it from a person who's got a phone or a laptop or a tablet device. And it's just that much more easier to teach students digital skills in a digital class if this class size isn't that large. Generally, it's 5 to 10 students. And you'll find that if students struggle, we always welcome them back if they need that extra practice. And as I mentioned before, because these boot camps are done on Google Meet, students do come that much more prepared with the practice to join their classes, having already participated in a Google Meet bootcamp. And so what does the test look like? It makes the students very happy to know that they can take the test on their phones. It's not a paper and pencil type of test. They're able to do it on their phones. It does have a multiple choice format in that it allows us to see their test scores sooner rather than later. But it also lets us know where the students are in terms of their abilities. Do they need additional digital literacy support, which means taking extra digital literacy classes? Or is it that they just need one more bootcamp session to really emphasize what are some of those weak points that they have in terms of their knowledge surrounding digital literacy? But all of this is provided to them as they get ready to join their classes, which would generally start the following week. So in either case, whether they need additional digital literacy classes or an additional boot camp, we try to schedule these so that they don't conflict with their class schedule. Okay. And I'll stop here for one last poll question.
All right, last poll question going into the chat box is what inspires you to incorporate digital literacy into your classes next year? Here are a few options.
I'm loving the answers that are coming on the chat here. Empowering the students, that's really what it all comes down to. Just empowering them, inspiring them to have the confidence to continue to pursue their academic or professional or everyday living goals. It's what brings them to us. So we want to teach them what's necessary to help them continue on that path. And it doesn't necessarily mean that in-person classes are gone. This is here for now, but it's also teaching students that now they really have these tools and resources available to them, so that when they do come back to in-person classes, they're better equipped to succeed in them as well, because they've endured the confidence to go through the challenge that it may have been to learn digital literacy for them than they previously expected. So in terms of success for LCMC that these boot camps have had, I'm going to turn it over to Ahu.
Thank you so much, Raul, and hello everyone, and thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this presentation. So just to conclude our presentation, our role has been spearheading the LCMC's efforts in digital literacy and digital literacy bootcamp. I have just wanted to add a couple of things as the program administrator who really needs to look at the programmatic side of the thing. So I can tell you all that having a digital literacy bootcamp allows us to have only one set of materials. So we really do not have to worry about what each teacher is doing. So digital literacy is a big part of it. And then as a program, we all have goals about what we would like to achieve with our students when it comes to digital literacy. And having just one program or a digital literacy bootcamp or having a North Star assessment allows us to have only one thing, so that we can focus on our goals. And we also, it also allows us to know what will be covered. So if we really didn't tell our teachers that we would have these digital literacy boot camps, I believe that every teacher will do whatever they wanted to do. So it would be like, if we are offering so many classes in one fiscal year, we would end up with so many materials. Maybe some of the materials wouldn't be of quality materials that we really want them to do. And when I also think about these digital literacy boot camps, having these digital literacy boot camps 1 week prior to the classes start, I think it allows time. So if you think about not having a digital literacy boot camp and having a class, let's say you have 10 students or 15 students and half of the class know how to use the computers or the Google Meet or Zoom, but while the half of the class they have no idea what to do. The instructors really have to spend a lot of time to make sure that everybody is on the same page. And then a lot of instructional time might have lost, although digital literacy has to be part of the instruction. Then we, get our learners ready for digital literacy with Raul's leadership, and then with our volunteer educators or with our ESL teachers to support us during this process. And we know that who needs what, so we serve them before they come to the class. And what I could conclude to say that organizations like LCMC, we have volunteers. So how could we utilize our learners, or how could we utilize our volunteer skills to help us? Because we do get a lot of applications to be a teacher assistant or to offer us help. So we could really use our volunteer educators to support us. Maybe this could also financially help the programs if they don't have any money to pay the teachers to do the digital literacy boot camps. And there is really, as we have it in here, there is also no intimidation factor for students. So nobody really gets intimidated on the first day of the class because there are some students who know better. There is no peer pressure. Everybody knows what is expected of them. They're almost at the same level. If I am a learner who really doesn't have enough digital literacy skills, I'm in a group with the other people who are on the same mode with me. So we all learn together. So I don't get intimidated by super achievers in my group. And I think this is also, I'm sure Raul might add a couple of things to it. We identify the students based on the North Star, and then we know what kind of support they need. If we believe that the students need more help after we offer the digital literacy bootcamps, we could always give them one-on-one. We have that capability. We could meet with them. So, and then it's like I always call it as the boutique kind of instruction in digital literacy. So, there is that focused attention to the learners, and then we tell the learners with these digital literacy bootcamps, there is more opportunities, there is no need to be scared, and then you will be able to attend your classes. I think these are the main things that I could say as a program administrator, so who deals with the digital literacy part of it. Raul, I know we are past our time, but I think this is the end, right?
I think this is the end. If you have, if there's any way that you guys incorporate digital literacy into your programs, or if you'd like to continue the conversation, please reach out to us, and we are happy to continue talking about this important topic.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Raul and Ahu. Such fantastic information of how you can better prepare students for the academic challenges that they'll face without digital literacy being such a big factor in that. So thank you so much for presenting, and thank you so much for all of our peer interaction in the chat box. We really appreciate your participation.